Maybe
added confusion to the
some more information needs to
process.
be in that insert.
I mean, yeah, today alone, I mean, we
No
got a
payment for notes.
stack, probably about probably about that high of bills that I have to print out, that we physically have to print out, because we can't post without a physical bill there, because people are using their online service, their own online service. So it is very, very time consuming.
Mr. Chair? Okay.
Mr. Yule.
Is there any, I don't think this is possible, I'm just going to throw it out there. Is there any way to create an incentive for people to do it? I mean, we know it's an advantage to us, to the town, all right, but is there any way to do an incentive, whether it's a one-time incentive or, you know, because when we pay by credit card, we have to pay a fee, correct?
Correct.
Now, if you pay by check, you don't pay the fee. So there's an incentive there, we know
Right.
that, but is there an incentive, or there is an incentive for us to try to come up with a program that maybe we can have a one-time $5 discount if everybody just becomes part of this program, and you know, without paying by credit card, but paying by through the town. Is there
Right.
any way to do that?
I can look into it. I don't know of any other towns that do that.
But it would be, there's a savings for us if we can get 85% of the population, 90% of the population paying through the town, correct? There's a savings to us.
Mary Ann, I think one of the important pieces is what I had mentioned, that you can in fact schedule the payment. There's a lot of people that pay through the bank, you know, use that feature. They basically go in, and they do it all at once, and they schedule their payments. And maybe they think that if they went the other way, they couldn't do it. And therefore, they have to remember, if they want to pay it in the last day, that they got to remember to do it on that day.
Right.
So I think
know.
maybe, you know, letting people know that there is an option to schedule the payment when you're using Unibank might help get people to, especially those that are using the bank already to make payments. It's not like they're, you know, they're on the computer doing it.
Right.
So this is
It's a nice feature.
Yeah.
no more difficult to do it this way.
Right. I know that when people do schedule their bills on their own bank, they think that the money gets wired or ACH'd into our account, which is not true, which it actually goes to a payment center, which could take up to 5 days. And then they send us, you know, 3 or 4 envelopes with you know, 10, 5, 10, 15, 20 bills in an envelope. They might take it out of the person's account on that first day when they scheduled it, but we might not get it for 10 days later, because it has to go to a distribution center or ACH center. They physically cut checks and then it comes to us. So it does take quite a few days before we actually get the payment. So it would be beneficial for them to come to our system and schedule the payment.
Mr. Chair?
Mr. Yule.
Then that would make them late, correct?
Correct, yes.
So I think in that literature that we send, I think that's an important thing to do. I mean, I pay through the town, okay, for the same reasons that the chairman suggests. So I think that's a beneficial way. But if people, I have done it through my checking account, and I took that into consideration at one time that I did that, and apparently it was okay. But if that's an important feature to put into that little flyer, is that even though you schedule the payment on the payment date, because I'm sure a lot of people don't like to pay until they have to pay, right? So if they pay on the day that they have to pay and you get it 5 days late, they should be come screaming to you.
They do.
Right, they do, okay? So I think it's an important
And that's when we
feature.
do explain to them, you know, that it does go to a distribution center, and, you know, we do say, you know, you can go onto our system and pay. So, with the new website, taxbillsonline.com, with the link on there to go to Unibank, eventually that Tax Bills Online will have several years on there too. So hopefully, if someone wants to look at their bills, it'll be able to be on there, and they'll be able to physically look at their bills. We had a slight problem with it at first. There was a computer, something to do with the software, but that's been fixed, and as far as I know, it's been up and running, and we haven't had a problem with it, so. And, you know, they linked it right to Unibank, so.
right, any other questions on, well, we're on
This is on
collections now.
assessing, right? Treasury.
No, treasury.
Treasury, that's
Collection.
what I meant.
Next is collections.
That was collections.
Sorry, treasury, that's right, we went the other way. On treasury, Mary Ann.
My treasury budget is just, the only thing that is in there is my assistant salary and my stipend. That's the only thing that's in treasuries. Everything else we switched over to collectors.
That's easy.
Any questions?
That's what I can read.
Greg, it's about 50/50, is that how that works?
Excuse me?
In terms of her time is 50/50, Mary Ann Stein?
Oh, I'm gonna ask her to respond to that question. I don't think it's quite 50/50.
No, I would say,
Most of it is in collections.
yeah.
And that's where all the business activity is conducted across the counter, is all collections.
Right?
Done well.
And that's what your staff spends all their time on. Collections and payroll.
Yes.
Well, actually, that's one more question. And I know we're gonna get to this in another future budget hearing regarding technology, but maybe this is more question for you, Liz. Is there any technology that, because we met as department heads, technology discussion was a long one. And is there anything that we need from a technology standpoint to help the department that we need to budget for?
Well, all, the capital items for the new
Excluding- yeah,
munis.
Excluding the software stuff. Is there a hardware thing? I mean, I've been over in your department, does seem like some of the stuff is a little outdated over there.
Well, we recently just gave all the staff flat screen monitors
Okay.
and got rid of the giant ones through an IT capital item that was available. So, over time, there will be things that we need to do things more proficiently, as well as with the Munis software, there's going to be upgrades that are necessary. So that will be part of the capital item. Jean's budget will highlight stuff too, as Jean now falls under the finance umbrella.
Thanks. No more questions from me.
Anyone else? Thank you, Mary Ann.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mary Ann.
Good evening.
Debbie?
How is everybody?
Good, how are you?
I'm good.
Excellent.
And mine should be pretty quick too. I didn't actually have a lot of changes. What I did was I actually took a lot of time. Last year, the budget, I don't think I put as much thought into it. It was just level funded, level service. This year, I kinda had another year under my belt to actually look at what the department needed, where I wanted it to go. So that's why you see some of the switches in the budget items, such as training and ed, such as the printing, the minor stuff. The biggest one that I really focused on was the professional services. I did look back, and when the town had to produce a warrant article for a state mandated program called the cyclical cycle, and what that is you have to do a third of the town over a 10-year period. Well, we didn't do that, so we had to go out to bid on that and do it all within a year. I have 15 years of revale service prior to going into municipal government. And that's actually what I did. What happens is you get a lot of inconsistencies, you get a lot of erroneous data, and I'm just gonna say it up front, because what happens is you put in a stack of people in the town, and they're doing 1,000 properties. Well, if you've got 20 people in here, there's 20 people with 20 different opinions. So what I did on the professional services is, I'm doing about 600 parcels a year. That's just mine. If we add another to that, and we have one person in the field outside of myself, not full-time, just to do 500 or 300 parcels, will stay within that state mandate. Then we don't have to go out for an RFP for $260,000. So, and that's because I'm in the field all the time. I do the sales, I do the permits, I do the OCs, I do the abatement inspections, which, like I said, average about 600 parcels. So that's the biggest change in my budget. And the other thing that's gonna help too is when we go out to the revaluation for 2014 and we have that RFP, what will happen is we're not gonna have to spend as much money on that RFP either, because we already have some of the work done between 2012 and 2013. So we'll be saving, and I don't have a number on that because I don't really know what the price for the reval will be. For 2011, it was 100,000. My guess is gonna be a significant savings because we're already doing quite a bit of the work. So that's what I did with the restructuring for the assessor's budget.
And I take it, Greg, that you're in support of that based on the numbers here?
I do see just one little question on your personal services, at least in that front data, Liz, on page 56. Deb shows personal services about, for, in her group, almost $37,000 left, recommended, and then Greg's is, obviously, like I said, almost $37,000 more. But then when you go to this spreadsheet, it's a little different. So I could actually tell you on page 56, if you go to line under section 141, assessing, under personal services, under department request level services, there's only 132,845. Do you see that number?
I'm not sure if I'm on there. I'm looking at where it's finance director, accounting, assessing, treasury, collection, that
Got
one.
it. That's the one, yeah. Yeah, and if you look at personal services under assessing,
Department request?
the department request is 132,845.
I have 169,713.
Same.
69,730.
That's 2012.
No.
He's looking at 2013.
What page are you on, Mike?
56.
I'll just read it.
69,713.
Yeah. For year 2013.
169,713.
Okay, hold on. I'm on,
Yeah, that's
see how right here, this is the sum of one. So let me just
to the
change
right,
that.
132,845.
So that's us.
Oops, to the right?
Yeah.
Yeah, see the number, 132,845? But then when you go to assessing, her budget, it's a different number.
Not on the same page as you.
Let's check that out.
So I just don't want the totals to,
Mm-hmm.
Right here.
I see
Yeah.
it. I see it. I do.
Something didn't get carried away.
yeah, something carried over, so I don't know, you maybe missing something in your formula?
You have something different?
But inside here, it's.
Yeah, inside it's right, but I didn't know if this page actually tied to something else. I
see
thought I
it.
just pointed out, so you
On
don't,
the cover
It
sheet.
does tie to something else, so.
yeah, so you don't,
Is my number right on my page?
7.7.
the number is right on your page, but I know Liz probably has this tying to something else. It's
Exactly.
short almost $37,000, so I just saved 37 grand.
Oh, Mike, I love you.
That's what I'm here for.
That's great.
Doesn't
The
say-
only
looking
other
for
things
something.
that I
I'm not, come on, now, that's unfair.
Oh, she's got 2,000 stuff.
That means I read it.
Could be the fact.
Just picked up on it now.
From here to here.
That's the page.
Oh,
that
I
every-
had it
that's
all
the
done
page-
this afternoon.
That's the page that
Those are actual,
rolls
yeah.
everything up,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, cool shoes part.
It's an
of it.
important page.
Yeah.
Part of the year.
That's a big number to.
They're all important.
That's I just did a 7.7%.
I'll look at that. I'll look at
So
it.
the only other thing that I did that was just minor adjustments were, we do some of the printing in-house, and now, of course, with electronic data, we're doing a lot more independently. We're not sending out as much mailing and restructuring how we do things, whereas before, we do a lot more forms on the database instead of paying for forms.
How's the abatements? Are they up or down?
No, they're